kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. The fruits of the Ruach: love, joy, peace, and patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. The fruits of the Ruach: love, joy, peace, and patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Against such things there is no law. Oh, against such things there is no law. Against such things there is no law. The fruits of the Ruach: love,
All right, praise Yah. Welcome again. And before we get started, I would like to ask Brother Charles to open us up with a word of prayer.
Okay, we can just bow our head and close our eyes. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the opportunity to gather and speak about health and wellness, Father. We know that health is wealth, and you want your people to be in good health. Above all things, you wish for us to be in good health, Father. And your word also says the truth will set you free. And Lord, we just pray that we can share truths concerning health, that those who are listening to this message may be set free from whether physical or spiritual ailments that they may have. In the blessed name of your Son, we pray, Yeshua. Amen.
All right, thank you so much, and welcome again to this next edition of our wellness webinar. And today is actually January 22nd, despite the date on the slide. And I just wanted to welcome everyone here. That song, Fruit of the Ruach, so we want to grow in the spiritual fruit. And I thought it was fitting because tonight we're going to be talking about, you'll see the fruit of the earth that Yah created and put here for us. So a few housekeeping notes, just like to go over those. Today's webinar is recorded and also being live streamed to YouTube. The one from the last time is also on YouTube if you click the live tab. And we're also going to be publishing the individual presentations as separate videos. So make sure you're subscribed to be notified when those go up. And this webinar, we're shooting for 2 hours. And today we just have 3 panelists. Last time we had 4. So we're going to try to give each panelist a bit more time and end sooner. Hallelujah. If you have questions, and we're going to do something a bit different tonight. We're still having a Q&A session at the end, and you can ask your question to the panelists. But we invite you to go ahead and, type out your question in either the live chat or the Zoom chat, and our chat moderators will make note of it, and we'll see if it's something we could be a little more prepared to answer at the end of the Q&A or at the end of the panelists. And so resources, so you'll be able to access, just like before, the resources at yahudahliving.com/wellness. At this exact moment, it's showing a lot of the great resources from last time, and overnight, those will turn into the resources from tonight's webinar. All right. And if you have any, problems or issues getting to anything, be sure to reach out. We do review and answer email. And just a quick disclaimer, we're talking about health and wellness, but none of us are doctors. We're sharing our own personal experiences of what works for us. And so, what's presented is suggestions only. Not everyone can do everything. My father just had a kidney transplant and he can't eat grapefruit, but it might be a great suggestion for someone else. So just make sure when you hear great information, you make sure that it's great for you and your family. In other words, use wisdom. And of course, we give all esteem to Yahuwah Rofi, our healer. And so tonight's agenda, we have 3 great topics. We're going to be hearing from Brother Charles and Sister Frances concerning microgreens. And, that particular topic, it really, we could feature that during emergency preparedness, right? And we might even ask Brother Charles if he'll come back to share more. It's also part of wellness. It's also part of gardening. So it kind of segues into some of the themes we'll be doing. in these subsequent webinars. We'll also be hearing from Sister Jessica on juicing, continuing that theme on Abba's plants and things, good things he put on the earth for us. And she'll be sharing a testimonial and giving us some good information, plus a demo. And Brother Charles will be giving a demo as well. And I'm going to be addressing testing oils and how to buy, how to vet quality oil companies, more or less, as a follow-up to a lot of the questions we got in the last webinar. All right, so that's our agenda for tonight. And again, I thought it would be fitting to just share a couple scriptures about Abba's plants from his word. So we hear in Genesis chapter 1, verses 11 through 12, and Yah said, or Elohim said, let the earth bring forth grass, the plant that yields seed, and the fruit tree that yields fruit according to its kind, whose seed is in itself on the earth. And it came to be so. And the earth brought forth the grass, the plant that yields seed according to its kind, and the tree that yields fruit, whose seed is in itself according to its kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And we're going to have testimonies tonight about how good it is. And one more scripture coming from Yeshayahu, the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, verses 10 and 11. For the rain comes down and the snow from the heavens, and do not return there, but water the earth and make it bring forth and bud, and give seed to the sower and bread to the eater. So is my word that goes forth from my mouth. It does not return to me empty, but shall do what I please, and shall certainly accomplish what I sent it for. And that's Isaiah 55, 10 through 11. So just want to always incorporate Yah and the word into what we're doing. And without further ado, we like to jump right on in. So our first panelist is Brother Charles again, Charles and Francis. And the topic is microgreens. Microgreens. And right before we hear from him, we like to give brief bios about the person presenting, just to give you, some information, so you have more of a context of who's talking to you. So I'm going to read about Brother Charles. Charles learned to garden from his father, a farmer from the Philippines, while growing up in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Woohoo, Virginia. This early experience sparked his passion for cultivating fresh, healthy food. Today, Charles lives in Hedgeville, West Virginia, with his wife of 20 years and their 4 children. In 2016, he began growing microgreens after hearing how a friend overcame breast cancer by eating only microgreens as part of her recovery. Inspired by her testimony, he researched and experimented with growing microgreens, making them a staple in his family's diet. Now, Charles enjoys year-round fresh greens, growing microgreens in the winter, and maintaining a kitchen garden in the spring and summer. He shares his knowledge of gardening and microgreens at church and community events, encouraging others to grow their own food. Guided by the scriptures, for I am Yahuwah who heals you, Exodus 15:26, and also John 10:10. I have come that they might possess life and that they might possess it beyond measure. I like the way that translation words that. Charles is dedicated to helping others discover the health benefits of fresh, living food and the joy of growing it themselves. Praise Yah. And so I will turn it over to him at this time.
All right. Thank you, Sister June, for sharing that information. I do have an update, though. We've been gone for the past week, and we just got home late last night. So I won't be able to do a demonstration, but still, I pray that the information that I'm going to provide will be beneficial for everybody. And maybe it'll be another reason why you have to bring me back on. So maybe we can do a demonstration at some other point. But anyways, praise God for the opportunity to be here. And today, like Sister June said, we're going to talk about microgreens. Yeshua said that the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field, which indeed is the least of all seeds. But when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs. And so we see here that Yah often uses the small things to create something incredible, to create something big. And so that's why I'm excited to share this information with you. How something as small as a seed can have such a big impact on our health, in our lives, and even our faith. All right, so before we dive into microgreens itself, I did want to touch base on the plant's journey. Like how like what is a microgreen and how does it even get to that point? So a plant's journey actually starts at the seed. Okay, as you can see here, these are sunflower seeds. Each seed contains all the nutrients it needs to grow into a full plant, and it requires no external nutrient source for about 10 days. Beyond their role in producing plants, seeds are also nutritional powerhouses rich in vitamins, fiber, and healthy fats. Um, I'm going to talk more about that later on, but also seeds also contain something called called phytic acid, which is actually in the hull of the plant. So, like in the case of a sunflower seed, the phytic acid would be on the hull of the sunflower seed, not on the seed itself, but on the hull. And that phytic acid actually binds to the different minerals, so it prevents us from actually absorbing all those minerals. So, as we go into the different stages of the plant, we're going to see that acid goes from seed to sprouts to microgreens and to the adult counterpart. The ratio of nutrients and minerals and and phytochemicals are all different. So that's that's that with seeds. Okay, benefits of seeds. Okay, I wanted to share with you the benefits of seeds. Seeds are great. They're nutrient dense. They're packed with essential vitamins, minerals, and healthy fats. They support heart health with omega-3s. They aid with digestion. They provide fiber, and they provide a sustained energy with the protein content. So if you're exerting a lot of energy, seeds and nuts are a good way to go. Seeds, and because they do help you stay full, seeds also promote with weight management by helping you feel full. By helping you feel full longer, and they are also rich in antioxidants, which help combat inflammation. Uh, seeds, including seeds in your diet, can also boost your overall health and vitality. I like to mention the five good seeds that everyone should try to incorporate into their diet. It would be chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp, pumpkin, and sunflower seeds. All those are really good seeds. Um, and I'm not sure, most of you may have heard the amount of seeds you should take because it does have healthy fat and it is very dense. It's recommended to take about 1 ounce to 2 ounces of seeds per day, which equates to about a small handful. And it's easy to overdo the seeds and the nuts because you buy a bag of seeds and nuts, they're already cracked open, so you can just eat them. But if you were actually harvesting them, it would take a lot of time to crack them, and you wouldn't want to eat so many if that was your means of obtaining those nuts and seeds by cracking the holes. So just keep that in mind after partaking of the seeds and the nuts. And if we could go on to the next slide, Sister June. All right, so from the seeds, we go into the next stage, which is the sprouts. So sprouts are so when you soak seeds in water and when the conditions are correct, so it needs water, it also needs to be in the proper temperature, the seeds will begin to sprout. And sprouts typically don't have true leaves, and they can be harvested within 1 or 2 days. Despite their size, sprouts are also nutritional powerhouses containing 10 times more phytochemicals than their mature counterparts. If you don't know what a phytochemical is, you're going to hear a lot about it today. But phytochemicals are natural compounds produced by all plants, which includes fruits, vegetables, beans, and grains. And they are the foundation of the healthy diet. These compounds serve as the plant's immune system, protecting them from viruses, bacteria, fungi, and parasites. And when we consume the plants, the sprouts, the leaves, the fruit, we actually benefit from those same protective properties, which help boost our immune system. It helps fight inflammation and it helps guard against disease. One particularly fascinating phytochemical is called chlorophyll. I'm not sure if you all heard of chlorophyll, but that's the green stuff. And chlorophyll actually closely resembles our red blood cells. And we know what the Bible says about blood. Life is in the blood. And it's incredible to think that when we eat whole plant-based foods, we're taking in the life-giving properties they contain. If you think about it, you heard that phrase that says, you are what you eat. So if you're eating live things, live plants, then that's going to give you life. But if we're eating dead things, those dead things that you're eating is not going to help boost your health. Okay, the next slide is we're going to talk about how to grow the sprouts. And it's pretty simple and straightforward. It's almost similar to how we would do microgreens. But to grow sprouts, depending on how much you want to grow or how much you want to sprout, typically 2 to 4 tablespoons, depending on the size of the seeds. But you want to soak those seeds overnight at room temperature. You do want to make sure you have good ventilation, because anytime something is um, wet and in close quarters, if there's not good ventilation, it can spoil, and fungus and things like that can grow on the seed. So you want to make sure wherever you're growing your sprouts, that you're in a good, well ventilated space, just like in an open kitchen or even on top of your refrigerator. If it's cold, you can put it on top of your refrigerator, or if you had a heating mat, you can put it on top of that to keep the seeds warm. And then after you soak the seeds overnight, you rinse them every 12 hours. I like to think about it for during like the morning, like right before your morning and evening worship, the morning and evening sacrifice. Just rinse it. I normally do it 3 times a day. So first thing in the morning, sometime around noon, and then right before I go to bed, I'll rinse the seeds. Um, and then within 2 days, they're they're ready. They're sprouted, and you can actually eat them within that time frame. And you can let them grow. As you can see in this picture, they're starting to produce leaves. They're not the true leaves, but they're producing leaves, and you can eat them just like that. You can use mason jars. You can use mason jars with like a cheesecloth on top. You can use a colander with a kitchen, covering it with a kitchen towel. There's many different ways of doing it, but basically what you want to do is just soak the seeds and have a place for it to. You want to be able to drain the seeds and then have it just sit. And it doesn't need light, but it does need ventilation. And again, germinating seeds can contain from 2 to 10 times more phytochemicals as compared with their commercial adult plants. And I am going to talk a little bit more about the differences of why there's more nutrients in these sprouts and even in the microgreens than the adult counterpart. Okay, next slide. All right, microgreens. Okay. So here we go. Microgreens are the young greens harvested just between 1 to 2 weeks. So first you have the seeds, you're going to germinate them, and then they turn into sprouts. Sprouts are going to be between 1 to 5 days. Microgreens are going to be between 7 to 21 days. Okay. And microgreens are going to be typically grown in soil. When I first started growing microgreens, that's the way I did it. That's the way I learned through the Bible. The Bible said that Yah put Adam in the midst of the garden, and he had to till it. So obviously that required soil. So that's the way I started off. But I recently started experimenting with just using water, and I'll talk more about towards the end of the presentation how to grow them and why I do certain things, and what's the benefit of growing it in soil versus waterless or soilless. But at this stage, the microgreens, when you're growing them, they're going to be in soil, and they're going to require regular watering. They're going to require sunlight and the stable foundation for the roots. So your bigger seeds like peas, sunflowers, and things like that, they're going to require the soil. Other microgreens such as like with the small seeds like radish, broccoli, amaranth, clover, things like that, doesn't necessarily need soil as long as if you're using water, only water, you need to have nutrients in there. And we'll talk more about that later on. But like I said, these microgreens can be harvested in as little as 7 days. That's pretty quick. If you're gardening and you're a gardener, you know that typically it's going to take a lot longer than 7 days to plant a seed and then wait for the fruit to produce. But this is something that is very quick, and you can grow it in in your kitchen or on a countertop somewhere, and you can constantly have these fresh greens on a weekly basis. So at this stage, so I said on the sprouts, they're about 2 to 10 times more uh, nutritious than their adult counterpart. The microgreens are up to 40% more nutritious than their grown counterpart, making them a concentrated source of nutrients. So why are microgreens a nutritional powerhouse at this stage? Okay, so at the early stages, at the early stages of growth, what happens is the plant is concentrating all this energy on developing its first true leaves. So this results in a higher concentration of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants compared to the later stages. So like your sister June is showing the full-grown plant. At the later stages, at this stage, all these nutrients and all the energy is shifting from producing the true leaves into producing more of the foliage of the plant and producing the seeds and producing the fruit. So you lose a lot of those nutrients in that, because now instead of the plant being about 2 inches tall, where it's all the nutrients are condensed into 2 or 3 inches of plant, now it's being spread out over, like, let's just say a sunflower that can grow about 9 feet tall, or even amaranth, which is that pink thing on the bottom, and then your peas. All the nutrients and minerals are being spread out all throughout the plant, and that's why at the earliest stages, even from the seed to the sprout to the microgreens, you're going to have a lot more nutrients. It's going to be more nutrient dense. In addition to the health benefits, microgreens do deliver bold, concentrated flavors, and they range from being very spicy to mild and nutty. Okay, Sister June, yeah, you can go there. Okay, so right here, I just wanted to give a visual on the different stages of the plants. We did talk about the seeds, the sprouts, and the microgreens. And typically in person, I would do kind of like a little survey. And so on that first line, Sister June, don't press anything yet, but on that first row, can anyone guess based off of the seed? Because really, you can only tell by the seed what kind of plant it is. But can anyone guess? You feel free to chat it in the chat box. What plant is that? It Let's see here. Not clover. And normally, what I would do is I would normally give out free packets of seeds when we do these surveys and these little pop quizzes. No. Okay, so the first seed. So go ahead, Sister June. Can you just click it one time? Click the slide once. All right. What is that? That is a radish. So the radish family actually produces the fastest. Between 5 to 7 days, you can get the microgreens looking like this within 5 to 7 days. It's really quick. And when our family is in a jam and it's winter time and we don't have greens, I'll just go ahead and soak this overnight, and then I'll just let it grow. and within 5 days we have a lot of greens. Because and again, I'll show you the setup, but I grow mine on a 10 by 20, which is 10 inches by 20 inches, 10 inches by 20 inches rectangular, and that will produce over like about a pound of microgreens. Okay, so the bottom row, don't click on it yet, Sister June. What's the guess on the bottom one? That'll be kind of difficult because this type of seed looks like many different seeds. Okay, Sister Jessica got it right. It's broccoli, and actually, this broccoli seed. Hey, Sister June, you can go ahead and click that button. Yeah. So so broccoli seeds actually looks like kale seeds. It does also look like clover. So this one can be kind of tricky, but Sister Jessica got it right. Let's see. Okay, can we go to the next stage or the next? One? Okay. All right, so let's talk about the benefits of microgreens. We just talked about the different stages of a plant, from seeds to sprouts to microgreens. But why do we care to take it? Why, you heard in my bio that back in 2016, we had a friend who had breast cancer, and she shared, and we got connected because um, we were growing our own food, and I didn't know anything about microgreens at all. And she told me about her situation and the health challenges that she had, and she uh, learned about microgreens, and she started growing them and purchasing them. I think she was purchasing them, not growing them, but she was purchasing them, and she was strictly on a microgreen diet. And I don't remember how long it was, but she got her cancer, her breast cancer went away. So we understand that these phytochemicals and these nutrients have a purpose. So here's my talk on this. Microgreens are often referred to as superfoods or functional food because they offer benefits beyond just basic nutrition. Packed with dense nutritional content, microgreens contain significantly higher concentrations of vitamins, minerals, and phytochemicals compared to their mature counterparts. In fact, some nutrients and phytochemicals are only present during the sprouting and microgreen stages. So why are microgreens so nutrient rich? Uh, so earlier I mentioned something about phytic acid. So what phytic acid sits, or it's contained in the hull of the seed. So anytime you take, like you swallow seeds, let's say flax seeds, if you're taking flax seeds, or if you eat even a sunflower seed, chia seeds, or any other kind of seed, and they haven't been sprouted, you may not be able to actually absorb all the nutrients within that particular seed, because the phytic acid binds itself to all the minerals, and our bodies don't have the enzymes to actually break those minerals down. So you actually lose the opportunity to absorb certain phytochemicals, such as like zinc, calcium. Let's see, zinc, calcium, iron, and magnesium. So by sprouting the seeds, like I don't know if you ever seen like breads or different noodles, and they'll say they're made from sprouted seeds, and those would be more beneficial because by sprouting it does release the phytic acid goes away, and then now you have access to all those additional nutrients and minerals. So sometimes here at home, what my wife will do is, let's say she'll make a lentils, or she'll make something like with mung beans. She'll soak it overnight, and then she'll let it sit and wait until it sprouts, and then we'll cook it, or we'll eat it raw, or whatever the case is. So those are just some simple things that you can even do, just to even just get a little bit more nutrition out of what you're already eating, especially when it comes to a seed or a bean. So microgreens are also high in fiber and vitamin K, which support healthy blood pressure. It aids in digestion and improves gut health by acting as a prebiotic nourishing the good bacteria in your microbiome. So you heard of probiotics. Probiotics are going to be the things that it's going to be the live cultures that you partake of. Like if you drink the kombucha or you take the probiotic pills, you're inserting those live cultures into your body. Or some yogurts also have those live cultures. Prebiotics, what prebiotic does is they're actually foods that that will feed the bacteria, the good bacteria that's in your gut. So the microgreens are prebiotics. Things like onion and garlics are also prebiotics. So you don't necessarily have to purchase probiotics, because sometimes probiotics can be pretty expensive. But if you eat microgreens or you eat things that are prebiotic, foods that will actually boost your gut health, you won't necessarily need to take probiotics. Okay, so that's something to share. And again, here in this slide, I just list a whole bunch of different nutrients and the benefits of those nutrients. So we can go to the next slide. Okay, yeah. So here, yeah, I love sharing this with people because this gives everyone a visual also on the ratio or the comparison between the adult counterpart and the microgreen. 50 cups of broccoli, which I don't know how many people can eat 50 cups of broccoli. I can barely eat maybe 5 cups of broccoli because it's just so dense. But that 50 cups of broccoli, as far as nutritional content, is equivalent to 1 cup of broccoli microgreens. And in a 10 by 20 tray, I can have several cups of microgreens there. So that will feed my family. Next slide, please. Okay. So again, just kind of wanted to foot stomp on the portion concerning more phytochemicals and nutrients than the mature version. Um, there was a study done by the American Chemical Society that compared the nutritional content of microgreens to their mature counterparts, and the results came back highlighting the difference. I think I had the link somewhere, but if I don't, I can share that so everyone can get access to it later. But here are some of the difference. Red cabbage microgreens were found to contain higher levels of this of all of these nutrients, which includes the nitrogen, sulfur containing compounds, and folate. All these nutrients help against cancer. It protects against cancer. With the arugula microgreens, just 1 cup has 100% more vitamin A than the mature version, which is essential for eye health and also for a strong immune system. The radish microgreens, again, the radish microgreens are going to be the ones that it grows the quickest at between 5 to 7 days. Radish microgreens has double the amount of calcium and are higher in omega-3 fatty acids compared to the mature radishes. And these nutrients help strengthen bones and reduce inflammation. And then finally, the broccoli microgreens had a higher content of sulforaphane, which is a powerful antioxidant. And this particular antioxidant is linked to lowering uh, blood glucose levels and protecting against heart disease and cancer. So all of these nutrients in matter of fact in young and adult plants are effective in weight management. They're effective in weight management. They're effective um, in helping your body sustain itself concerning health and also to help boost your immune system. Okay, can you go to the next slide, please? Okay. Can microgreens help you detox? If you're needing a detox, I know Sister Jean was talking about her dad having something wrong with her liver. My sister had an issue with her kidneys, and she was on dialysis. And I was trying to introduce her to microgreens, but she said she couldn't. She said her doctor said that she couldn't eat anything nutrient dense because her kidneys weren't working, and by eating nutrient dense foods, the kidney the kidney, since the kidney doesn't work, all that stuff is just going to sit in her kidney. So it is important to understand where you are health wise, so that if you're incorporating these things into your diet, you know how far you can take it. But you know, but you want to be able to maintain your health before you get to that point, before you get to the point of being on dialysis, or before you get to a point where you're really sick. So for me and my family, we try to eat as healthy as possible throughout the year, so that we don't get to a point where we're close to having diabetes or anything like that. So health is wealth. It may seem that eating this way may cost more or even be more of an inconvenience, but if you think about it, if you get sick, that is more of an inconvenience, and then you also spend more time and money having to try to get your health fixed, maybe by going to a doctor or spending additional funds on medicine or whatever the case is. But the plants are the medicine. That is the life that Yah has given us to be our medicine. But can microgreens help you detox? Yes, they can. And we talked about chlorophyll, and chlorophyll is the equivalent to plant blood, or equivalent to human blood. It is the blood of the plant. And when we partake of that chlorophyll, um, it truly gives us life. And that chlorophyll also helps eliminate the toxin, and it also helps support the liver function. Broccoli, kale, radish, wheatgrass, arugula, and beet, all those have been known to provide an overall detoxification of the body. And brassicas like kale, bok choy, broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage, again, it helps support liver detoxification, estrogen metabolism, and hormone balance. Okay, don't rely on, if if at all possible, rely on Yah's herbs for medicine, because it's what he's given us, and we know his word is true, and praise Yah that he gives this things to us. Even if I could give another presentation on foraging, and that is great too, because foraging also has a lot of health benefits as well. But next slide. All right, so other benefits of growing microgreens: you can grow it year round. I don't grow it as much during the summertime because we do have a crop outside. So we'll grow our garden outside, and that keeps us pretty busy. But during the fall and winter, when we're not growing as much, we'll do the microgreens indoors, and you can grow it anywhere. There's really no excuse. You can put it on a countertop. You can put it on a kitchen table, as long as you have access to light. It can even be a window. Um, yeah, you can grow it anywhere. Super easy. And it is simple and inexpensive. I'm going to show, I think I have another slide here that's going to talk about like how to grow them. And it can be as simple or as expensive as you want it to be. It does provide you with a continuous supply of greens throughout the year. And again, I really believe in just eating plant-based, because those whole plant-based foods really provides the life that our body needs. And also, as a market crop, there's a lot of people out there very interested in eating healthier. You know, Yeshua, he healed, he healed more than he preached, and he met the needs of the people. And so people now are wanting to get healthier. And this is just another way to, if someone wanted to have a side income or do this on the side, that's also another potential uh, stream of income. And also for me, as we mentioned earlier, my wife and I will attend different churches and also different community events, and we'll share all this information out to the public, and for free. And again, just to share how the microgreens has helped us and our family, and how it can potentially help them as well. Okay, how to grow the microgreens. I I think Sister June provided a link either in the chat box, or it's going to be part of the resource page, but it has 7 steps on how to grow microgreens, which is a really good website. There's so much you can find online that you can look at YouTube videos or different blogs that you can learn how to do this on your own, or even feel free to reach out to me. I don't mind sharing everything that I've learned over the last 10 years or so. But so how to grow it. So the first things first, you're going to want to have a container with a growing medium. And so this container is going to be, I use a 10 inch by 20 inch rectangular plastic, uh, the good plastic, the food grade plastic. And I'll put soil in it, and then I'll put the seeds on top. Depending on the type of seeds, it would be about 2 tablespoons or so. And this is where I would normally have a demonstration, but unfortunately we've been gone for about a weekend, so I don't have that in front of me. So you're gonna have to visualize it. But the next slide actually shows how the setup looks like. So maybe you'll get a better visual there. But you're gonna put the seeds on top. You're gonna mist the seeds so it provides that moisture it needs, and you're gonna need to put it in a warm place. If it's during the spring, summer, fall time, it's typically warm enough that that's not going to be an issue. But during the winter time, it could be a challenge because it's pretty cold, and some seeds do require it to be 60 to 70 degrees and even up to 80 degrees, depending on what type of seed variety you have. But you can put it on top of a kitchen, I mean, not kitchen, on top of your refrigerator. That's normally warm on top, or if you have a heat mat. But you're going to have to find a way to keep those seeds warm. Um, Typically, you would want to also cover the the seeds. Typically, I'll put another tray on top of it, and what that does, it just mimics how a seed, like when a seed is planted, it's covered. It mimics that, and plus the mist and the water that you put on the soil and on the seeds in step number 3. If you don't stack it, typically what might happen is the water would evaporate, and then you're stuck with dry seeds, and then the seeds are no longer good. So stacking them or covering them helps provide, it helps maintain moisture, and it also mimics the no sunlight, like when the seed is actually out in the field and it's covered with soil. So step number 5, you want to mist it periodically every day, and this is every day. You want to check it. If it's still moist, there's no need to over mist it. But if it starts feeling dry, just go ahead and mist it, and to maintain that humidity. Once the seed is germinated, you're going to want to expose those seeds to a light source, because the seeds are going to go towards that light, and then once those leaves come up, um, that light helps with the photosynthesis. And when the photosynthesis occurs, it actually helps produce more vitamins and nutrients. And then basically you want to water and watch it grow. Um, Now, I have a pro tip at the end of this presentation, but the way you water it, you're going to want to water it from the bottom. So in the tray that I have holes on the bottom of my tray, and then I'll lift up I'll lift up the soil and the seeds, and I'll put water on the tray that doesn't have holes in it. So then it's actually the soil is being watered from the bottom, which is how they had it in the Garden of Eden. There was a mist upon the ground, and that's how, because it never rained. So, but there was a mist upon the ground, and that's what watered the plants through the mist on the ground. And that's the best way to do it. Because if you water from the top, there is a possibility of, if you don't have good ventilation, or you don't have a fan in the room, that there's a chance that things may start to mold. Okay, especially if your soil, depending on where you get your soil. I normally buy soil. If they're not sterilized, then what can happen is, like, if you have like little branches or little organic material in the soil, that's what's going to start catching mold, and you don't want that if you're going to be eating the microgreens. So after all that has grown, between 7 to 21 days, um, you're your plant's going to get about 3 inches tall, and it will be ready. It will be ready to harvest. So you can harvest it, and then you can bag it. If you're doing it inside, then there's really no need to wash it or anything. But you can cut it, and then you can bag it up, and you can store it in the refrigerator. Or the best way to do it is to harvest as you're ready to eat it. So typically, that's what we'll do is we'll have our 10 by 20, and then for breakfast we'll do a third. For lunch we'll do a third, and then for the next day we'll do a third, and then from there I would compost the remaining soil. And so there's no waste. When Yeshua fed the 5,000, when he fed the multitude, he didn't waste those loaves, the basket, the loaves, the extra loaves. What did he do? He gathered the loaves, and I believe he reused them, and he gave it to others. So we don't just throw things away. You're going to want to, if you have a garden, you do want to compost them. Now there is another method, which is just using water, and I experimented with that, and it works. So now I mentioned earlier, seeds has enough nutrients and minerals to sustain itself for 10 days. So if you're growing something like radish, broccoli, arugula, something that has enough nutrients within the seed itself, it doesn't need a external nutrient source like soil, then you can strictly do water. But once it gets past those 10 days, that that plant is going to require a nutrient source, which is typically going to be your soil. Or if you're using water, you would need to have some type of sea salt or something with minerals and nutrients in it, so that when the plant is growing, it is absorbing those nutrients. Otherwise, after those 10 days, if it doesn't have a nutrient source, then you're losing out on valuable nutrition. You're eating it, but you're losing out on valuable nutrition. Okay, next slide. Okay, these are just a few pictures of our setup. So what you're seeing, this black container, that's a 10-inch by 20-inch. On the top left is that's actually wheatgrass, and then I would grow that, cut it, and then juice it. So yeah, we didn't eat the wheatgrass whole. We just actually juiced that. So I don't know if you heard of wheatgrass juice, but that's very close. That's pretty much all chlorophyll. And that's very close to that. That's that plant blood I was talking about. And a lot of people would take the wheatgrass juice, and again, they use it as the health benefit. On the bottom, I think those are peas. And the thing with peas is when you grow them, you can actually have a second cutting. So you can grow peas, cut them, and it will grow a second time. Not every microgreen is going to do that. And then on the right, this is at one of the health fairs that we were at. This is my wife Frances, and we have these different microgreens here. That green tray right there, that's actually that's all water. There's no soil in that one. And this in this container is something called a vegan chickpea salad. That's what we normally would make. And so this links to a vegan chickpea salad recipe and the health benefits. So if you're interested in eating plant-based, that's a good recipe that a lot of people at the health fairs were very interested in. They're actually more interested in eating the chickpea salad than I think the microgreens, but we would use the microgreens, we'll put it on top of the chickpea salad, and people will eat that. And I want to say that is the end of my presentation. What's the next slide? Oh, okay, here, pro tips. Okay, so these are just tips for anyone out there who's interested in actually growing your own microgreens. You can use any food grade containers, even if you go to Olive Garden, like a to-go container, you can use that. That's normally in a clamshell. You can cut that in half. You can poke holes on one side and stick that on top of the other one, and you can use that as a two-tray system. The bottom tray with no holes, that you can water it from the bottom, and then on the top would have the holes in it, and then when you water, the water would drain to the bottom. You want to use good natural lighting if possible. Use natural sunlight. It's going to be the best. grow in a well-ventilated area or use a fan. Bottom water, or if you don't bottom water, you do risk the possibility of growing something else that you don't want, which is fungus. Um, you can store the microgreens in the fridge after harvest. If you're pressed for time, you can do that, but it's always best to eat it fresh. Just harvest it and then eat it fresh. I use this if I do have to wash the microgreens. I do use a salad spinner. That's really good because you don't want to. If you do wash your microgreens, you do want to keep them dry. Otherwise, they're going to spoil much faster. Soaking seeds overnight helps break the phytic acid and helps break down the outer shell of the seed. And I find that soaking the seeds overnight does actually help the seeds sprout faster. If you do garden, you can overseed your garden. So that's what I'll do. I'll grow salad and I'll overseed, and any extras salad that's growing that I want to space them out. I would actually harvest those. So I'll space my salad out every 6 inches. So anything between those 6 inches, I'll harvest those, and then you have microgreens there too. And then also save your seeds. So one lettuce plant can produce 1,000 seeds, and so if you're growing food, your own food out there, save your seeds. It doesn't have to be lettuce. It can be anything: garlic, peas, whatever it is, and let it go to seed. Save those seeds, and you can actually use those for microgreens. And that's what I've been doing for the last couple of years, saving my own seeds so I don't have to buy them, and just using that as my source of microgreens. Yeah. Now I believe that's the end of my presentation, Sister June. And I guess we can take question and answers at the end.
Yes, excellent. Awesome. Thank you so much, Brother Charles. That was really excellent. I appreciate you sharing with us. Let me see. All right, and so we're going to keep going right along here. And again, if you have questions, you can go ahead and put them in the chat, and we're going to address those at the end in our open Q&A panel. But feel free to express them now so you don't forget. And we were trying to put links to the recipes and different things like that. And all the links from today's webinar tomorrow will be up at yahudahliving.com/wellness. All right, so our next panelist will be Sister Jessica. Let me see if I can, and her topic will be juicing, and it flows perfectly with the content that Brother Charles has already shared. And so we're going to transition into this next topic. But before we do, we're going to have a word from about one of our sponsors for today's webinar. All right, Sister Catriel, are you in the house?
I am.
Okay.
So we're the first sponsor is Poets for Yah at poetsforyah.com. You can dive into some heartfelt poetry that praises the master poet Yahudah and his son Yahusha on the YouTube channel Poets for Yah. Sister Robbie, also known as Roberta Lee Roberts, is a devoted poet of Yahudah who shares her creative works to uplift and inspire. Her channel is a reflection of her 7-year walk with Yahudah, hallelujah, and her passion for spreading faith through poetry, music, and dance. She's also working on a book which will feature actually a collection of her poems, and it will be available on Amazon. So stay in the loop. Be sure to visit and subscribe to her channel. Thank you to Poets for Yah for helping to promote tonight's webinar. Back to you, Sister June.
Praise Yah. And again, that website is poetsforyah.com, and we'll add that to the chat boxes. All right, so about Jessica. Jessica was born and raised in Northeast Ohio. She has been married for 16 years and is the mother of 2 young girls, age 6 and 8. She has been into natural living since 2014. After having issues starting her family, she realized how toxic the standard American food, hygiene items, cleaning chemicals, and medicines that are marketed to us really are. She is always learning new things and incorporating changes with a know better, do better mindset. After getting poison ivy at a Sukkot meetup in 2023, she experienced a chain of skin-related problems, culminating in extreme skin irritations. The severity of her issues led to her overcoming her distrust of the medical system due to the debilitating discomfort. However, she only received slight relief with the treatments they offered. She was told the only way to get back to more relief was by either taking immune suppressive shots or high dose steroids, and possibly forever. However, she only received both of these options have short and long-term drawbacks themselves. Unwilling to accept either option, she continued to fast and pray and seek Yah for true Aruka healing. And after watching a documentary called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead in May of 2024, where testimonials of similar skin-related issues and other chronic health conditions were reversed by juice fasting, she decided to do further research and started her own juice fast, which she did for 8 weeks. She is still praying for complete healing, but is here to share some tips she has learned along the way. Praise Yah. All right, so over to you, Sister Jessica. Thank you for being here today.
Sorry about that. All right. Shalom, everybody. So the first question I have is, do you get enough fruits and vegetables? Studies show that adults should consume 1.5 to 2 cups of fruit and 2 to 3 cups of vegetables daily, but there's less than 16% of adults actually get their recommended intake. And this is like a recommended intake for like base health, not for, like healing. So increased intake of fruits and vegetables will increase your nutrient intake, which will effectively increase your antioxidant and nutrient levels. And I'm going to give some of the benefits of consuming more fruits and vegetables because there isn't a lot of research about how juicing is beneficial, especially juice fasting, because, the scientific studies are paid for by the people that don't want, you to don't stop buying their products. So, so there's not a lot of studies on that. So I'm focusing more on the benefits of just consuming more fruits and vegetables, which could lead to better sleep, increased energy, improved quality of life, reducing premature aging, improving your bone health, weight loss and management, improved concentration and cognitive function. I know I need that. May reduce blood pressure and protect the heart. And then why should you juice instead of, say making a smoothie or just eating the whole fruits and vegetables? Well, first, it's much easier to consume fruits and vegetables this way. And the nutrients are more easily absorbed because your body doesn't have to digest like the fiber content of the fruits and vegetables. So it goes right to your bloodstream for that instant energy and healing. And it increases hydration, which is good for people that tend to not drink enough water. Most fruits and vegetables are 80 to 90% at least water content. So it's great for hydration. And it tastes great. Most of them anyways. I've learned along the way, there's a few that I don't care for, like broccoli and cauliflower juice. I'd rather just eat the vegetables. All right, now these are some testimonials I've come across. The one on the right here was the one that I mentioned in my bio about the fat, sick, and nearly dead. Joe Cross, he healed himself of his skin issues, along with, I think he had like high blood pressure, maybe even diabetes. He was on a lot of meds, and he was able to get off his meds. He did a 60-day juice fast and then transition into a raw lifestyle for some time till he had his healing. Then this one that Jeff juices, he healed himself from Crohn's and SIBO, which I just learned about. It's a small intestinal bacteria overgrowth, which basically he wasn't able to keep down any food at all when he started this. And, after 90 days, he was a different person. He was actually able to, live a semi-normal life, which he was told he would never be able to do. And then Erica, she has probably the most remarkable story that I've come across, where she was in a wheelchair. She was in her early 20s and was told that her quality of life would never improve and that she wasn't even expected to have a long life with the condition as it was. And luckily she didn't take their advice and did her own juice fast for 365 whole days. And on the day after her fast ended, she ran a 5K. So she went from being in a wheelchair and not being able to even walk to her mailbox to running a 5K when she was told she wouldn't ever be able to do anything like that. And I have a document that I'm going to be sharing. It's going to be a live document. It has all of the videos to these if you are interested in checking them out, because they are remarkable. And then this is some before pictures of mine. This is at one of my bad outbreaks before I started my fast. As you can see, it's quite painful and irritating. And during my fast, I did 8 weeks, and I consumed only fresh cold pressed juice that I batched every 3 days. And I drank about 1 to 2 quarts of green juice, which I'm going to share that recipe later on in the presentation. And then 1 to 3 quarts of a mono juice, which just means single fruit. Either oranges or grapefruit every day, and pineapple. Each thing has different benefits pertaining to what my goals were. And then, of course, I mixed things up by juicing what was in season, what was on sale or marked down in the produce department. Did a lot of watermelon too, which is delicious and very healthy. And this is just the first batch I made. I just like that picture. It's really pretty with the drink the rainbow. I'm going to touch a little bit on the difference of two of the main type of juicers, the masticating or cold press, or the centrifugal juicers. And here's just some of the differences. The cold press or masticating juicers are typically more expensive, ranging from under $100 up to $1,500 at that very high end. And then centrifugal juicers seem to be generally around $50 to $300 from what I was able to see. The cold press juicer is a lot slower. However, it's called masticating because it mimics chewing. That's, masticating is chewing. So it's less oxidation and a more natural way of getting the juices out. Where the centrifugal one's basically kind of like a blender that drains the pulp out. So it puts a lot more oxygen in it. And of course, the cold press juicers also have a higher juice yield, which is very important when you're spending a lot of money on organic and good produce. You want to get as much juice out of it as you can. And then some other quick benefits. The cold pressed juicers are a lot better for leafy greens. They say that the centrifugal ones are not so good with the leafy greens. I don't have any personal experience with the centrifugal, so this is just information I found online. But the cold pressed juicers are typically easier to clean, they say. I looked at some of the parts there was a lot of parts on the centrifugal ones that I can imagine that would be so. Although it also depends on the cold press machine, because this is the one I got after I had one before that was a lot less expensive, and it was it was not very easy to clean. But so it depends on the model. And then of course the warranties are better. Like mine has a 10-year warranty. Some of the, the ones that go up to $1,500, those ones have bigger and better warranties. Centrifugal ones just basically have like a basic warranty. Multifunctional, the centrifugal ones are only good for juicing, where like my model in particular, some models can even do like food processing and things like that. Mine has a fine mesh screen, which is good for regular juice, a thicker one, which they say you can do smoothies. I've never tried that with my juicer because I have a blender if I want smoothies. And then also if you want more pulp in your juice, you can use the wider mesh. And then they also have an attachment I don't have. It's to make sorbet, which is like an ice cream out of frozen fruit, which I hear is really delicious. It came out after I got mine, or I probably would have just thrown it on when I got it, but anyways. And these ones are a lot more quiet than the centrifugal, they say. I can imagine because, like I said, it's basically like a blender, and you know how loud blenders can be, where you'll hear this one. It's not very loud at all, in comparison anyways. And then here's just some tips that I've learned along the way. You want to cut up fibrous vegetables and fruits smaller, which it does seem like kind of like a hassle at first. When they market this, they say you can just throw it all in their hole, but I found it can still clog if you throw them in whole. So for me, it's easier just to do a quick rough chop. Like celery, I usually do about this length, about an inch or so, because the fibers that run up and down in that, and like the greens, they're just long strands and it can get twisted around the auger and stuff like that. And it's just easier to cut it ahead of time, just to save you the time of having to unclog it if it does get clogged. But green, celery, pineapple are some that have the fibrous, like the pineapple is mostly the core that has the most fiber. So you want to take the core out and make sure you cut that small, because, lengthwise, because that has the same kind of vertical fibers like the celery does. And then many fruit peels and rinds are actually edible. So you can look that up and see which ones are good. Actually, watermelons, you can juice the rind also. I've done that many times. It kind of it's almost like you add cucumber to the watermelon juice. It makes it less sweet, which, I mean, obviously if you want it super sweet, just do it only the flesh. But if you don't mind it to be a little bit less sweet, you get the benefits of the rind itself. You just want to make sure, obviously with any produce, I'll touch on that a little more, you want to clean it really good. And if you don't want the dark, you can even peel the outside, but the white part of the rind is really beneficial too. And tasty. Like I said, it kind of tastes like cucumber watermelon juice when you have the rind in there. And it makes the juice stretch a little further too. And then there's a proper order. This little diagram on the right here is actually a picture I took of a diagram that came with my juicer. That's a magnet that's on my refrigerator that just kind of shows the order to put it in, just to maximize your juice yield, because the harder vegetables kind of push down and help the softer vegetables get into the auger and go through. And then also when you're making a whole batch of juice, like I was showing you with the 3 or 4 mason jars full, I have a big like gallon size mason jar. I mix it all into that just to make sure every jar has equal amount of all the different fruits and vegetables in it, because in the order you would do like the first jar would be all greens, and then the next one might be all apple, so it's just to get everything mixed together. And I also like to strain it when I do the green juice, because I'm not going to do it today, but just because, you don't really want the green, at least I don't like the green pulp, like the greens in there. So I have something like this here that I'll just put over the mason jar lid and pour it from my pitcher into the jars as I'm filling them up. And of course the batch juicing is very handy. So you only have to do the whole cleaning the produce and cleaning the juicer once every 3 days. You can only do this with the cold press juicer though, because the juice will last up to 72 hours with the cold press. But as soon as with the centrifugal one, it starts losing the nutrients immediately. So you want to consume it right away. And then strain out the pulp. Oh, and when you store it, you want to make sure you fill it as far up to the top as you can, just to have as little oxygen in the jar as you can, and also keep it in the back of the fridge, because the coldest part of the fridge will keep it fresher longer. And very important is to clean the juicer parts right away. If you can't clean them right away, at least soak them in the sink, because once that pulp gets dried in the filter, it's you either have to soak it or scrub really hard to get it off. So it's just a lot easier if you nip it in the bud and do it right away, or at least soak it right away. All right. And it is very, very important to clean your produce, because you don't know what was on it, what's crawling on it, who was touching it before it comes to you. So you can either soak it, like a lot of things online say just cold water rinsing it is good. I like to take a little extra precaution of soaking it in either baking soda or vinegar. These are amounts that I found online that people recommend. I just eyeball it, but I'm sure it's similar to that when I do it. And then I also found this video on how to remove the wax, which is really important, because you don't want to consume that wax. A lot of the wax that they put on the fruit actually has like bug parts in it, like the shellac in it. So this is a quick video I'm gonna play of how to remove the wax from the apples and other.
Clean the wax off of an apple. Start by boiling a pot of water. Add 1/4 cup of vinegar as an optional method to break down the wax on your apples. Drop each one by one into the pot, but don't leave them in the pot any longer than 10 seconds. We don't want to risk actually cooking our apples. Once that 10 seconds is up, pull each apple out of that pot, and then using a coarse, clean towel, wipe as much of the wax off as you possibly can. This buffing method does most of the work for you. See? Wax and no wax. Next, as a more thorough option, you can take a lemon, slice it in half, and then dip it in dry baking soda. Then use that lemon to scrub the outside skin of your apple. The baking soda and the acidity work together to work through the rest of that wax. A quick dunk in my leftover boiling water, and then one more soak with clean water to get any of that extra baking soda or vinegar off generally does the trick. The last thing we're going to do is dry these apples thoroughly. A nice dry skin will allow your caramel and candy to coat the apple thoroughly. And there you go, one clean and beautiful wax-free apple.
All right, although we won't be putting any candy or caramel on in our situation here, although that does sound pretty good. All right, oops, one. Oh,
Clean the
sorry. And one other thing I want to note, just in case anybody's not aware, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about it, but there's a new coating that they're starting to put on fruit. It's called Appeal. It's brought to us by Bill Gates. So I have in my document, I have a little information on that. If you're not familiar with that, it's something to get yourself familiar with, because it's something you would like to avoid, I'm sure, if you're like me. All right. Now this is what they call Lemon Ginger Blast. And this is the drink that I drank every day for 8 weeks. This along with the other juices that I made. But this is one that I had every day. And the recipe on the screen here is for a very large batch. It says 1 serving, but it makes about 2 quarts more if it's a very voluptuous cucumber and celery. So I'm toning it down because it's late in the day. I don't need all that energy. So I'm doing, a half a lemon here. Although the order we want to do first is the greens. I got the mint, the parsley, and the cilantro going in here. Ooh, oh, I didn't cut that one. Oops. I thought I had them all cut. And then the next order would be the cucumbers and the celery itself. I'm probably just going to end up throwing a lot of this in there just because. Oops. There we go. And then in the lemon, I'm doing a half a lemon. Basically, I'm cutting most of it in half. And that habanero on there, if you have the palate for that, more power to you. I do not have the palate for that. I tried it one time and I didn't enjoy it. And when you're drinking something for 8 weeks, you want to enjoy it. And then we got our apple in here. And then the ginger, which you also want to cut into smaller pieces because it's very fibrous too. All right, let me get all that in there. All right. And we turn it on here. I have it closed right now. See, not super loud. You can probably still hear me pretty well over it. And one other tip is over the collection tray for the pulp, I like to put a bag there. It just makes it one step easier. You can take it, I mean, you can compost it. Some people use the pulp to make, crackers or things like that. You can look that up because I don't have any experience with the crackers, or I would usually just throw it in the compost bin. And you'll see what it's doing is it has a kind of a blade that turns it around in here to kind of cut the fruit and veggies in smaller pieces and feeds it down through. It's like an auger, and it just twists it against the mesh strainer. And you'll see here, we'll let some of this beautiful juice out. And you'll see on this side the pulp's coming out. As you can see, it's very dry, like there's no juice coming out of it. And I'm excited to try juicing up some microgreens. Yeah, here we're going. And then one other thing I'll do at the end, I'll show you. As you saw in the thing, which the recipe and everything will be in that document, it recommends to cut the juice with 1/3 of water. I don't usually measure it exactly, but what I do at the end, see, like right now, it's mostly going all down, but if you have stuff that's not going down, see, as soon as I lift this at all, it stops. You can use like a spatula or something. I use my hand, but that's probably not recommended, even though it has the safety feature in there, but you probably shouldn't do that. But you can use something to help push it down. It's mostly down though, so I'm not gonna worry about it right now. See, it'll still run if it's shut, even partially. It doesn't have to be snapped in place in case you're constantly wanting to add more to it, which is what I love about this. There's a hole in the top too, and a tamper it comes with. But you can just open it up as you get some more stuff and throw it in there. And there today I got about, let's see, 12 ounces of juice from that amount of produce that I put in there. And then what I'll do is I'll shut this and I will dump some water in there to help wash it down. Like I said, I don't always measure it. And then I'll pick it up and just kind of swish it around a little bit. And you can see how green, it still has a lot of green that's going to be put in there. Oops, I dropped some pulp in there. And then I will just run it a little bit more with that in there. And you can see it's not coming out the pulp side at all. It's all going to come out this side, all the liquid, which is pretty, I don't know how it does it, but it's pretty amazing that none of that liquid's coming out that side at all. And then that just helps to, because you're supposed to cut it anyway, so that's how I usually do it. And plus it makes it easier to clean too. And then so what I'll do right at the end is there's a reverse function which you can use if it gets clogged. I'll put it in reverse right at the end before I take it apart, just because when it's going, it kind of makes a little bit of a suction, and which you can pull it out. But if you run it in reverse just for a few seconds, it kind of just backs it out a little bit, makes it easier to take the juicer apart. And then I'll just tip it to make sure you get every drop of that goodness out of there. There we go. All right. And no demonstration would be complete without a taste test. So I got my straw here. Mmm. Yummy. Very healthy tasting. Love the green juice. I mean, it's not my favorite juice to drink flavor-wise, but just knowing how healthy it is for you makes it taste good. All right. And I think that was all I wanted to put out there. I will definitely be looking at the chat if you had any questions while I was going through it. I just see what juicer do I have. I have a link to it in that PDF, or not PDF, the live document that I'm sharing. It's a Nama J2 juicer. If you're going to go for this one, I suggest there's discount codes, like all the, I can't remember which one I use, but even if you sign up for their newsletter, they'll give you a discount code. Make sure you use that. With even with the discount, it's about $500 for this one. I'll be up front with you. It's expensive, but after a week of juicing with the old one I had, it literally took all day to juice 3 days worth of juice, and I knew I was going to be doing this for an extended time. When I went into it, I didn't know how long I was going to do it for. I kind of had some goals set, but I ended up going a whole 8 weeks with it. It would have been very difficult to go through if I would have kept using that one, because it was just very inconvenient. This one, huge time saver. I can't rave about it enough. I love it. I'm lucky I talked my husband into investing in it, because I didn't even spend that much on my computer. But yeah, if you're gonna be doing something like this long term, it's definitely better to do your research. Although I did link on my document also the one that Sister Brittany, she's commenting in there. I saw her pop up with something. The one that she uses, I have on there too. It's an Amazon one called Aeta, and she raves about it. It has really good Amazon reviews. So I put a link to that one too if you want to check that out, if you don't want to quite go to the one. But it has like I said, it has a 10-year warranty. So if the motor blows or anything, it's covered for a while. So, and all right. I think that is all for me, and I will check the chat and of course be open to any questions at the end. Praise Yah.
Praise Yah. Excellent. I really enjoyed the demo and the information. We are moving right along, and I'm looking forward to getting to the question session. Trying to finagle these buttons. Praise Yahuwah. And so as Jessica mentioned, here's the recipe: lemon ginger blast, and she's made that available in her document. And again, we'll be linking that on the site, and you can see it in the live chats. And so we're going to conclude tonight with some more chat about essential oils. We had a very lovely, beautiful presentation last webinar from Cynthia, which is now up on YouTube if you want to go check that out. And so tonight I'll be covering where to find quality essential oils, because that was one of the questions. A quick guide to trusted brands, the question where to buy them, industry tests, like what are some of the tests that test for quality, home tests, and even do-it-yourself oils. But before we continue, we're going to hear about 2 sponsors, and I'm going to turn it over to Sister Catrielle.
Thank you, Sister June. Okay, so our next sponsor is Bloom for Yah at bloomforyah.com. In the last webinar, Brother Stefan and Sister Yah of Bloom for Yah shared with us an ebook they created called Planted. 20 copies were grabbed already, and you can still get yours today. Use Bloom for 10% off, a limited time only. This 40-day walk with Messiah will help you build faith, strength, and focus. Start transforming your habits today. It's intended to help you get grounded with Abba's direction, discipline, faith, and a sound mind. Our next sponsor and final sponsor for tonight's webinar is All Praises Radio at allpraisesradio.com. Discover All Praises Radio for set-apart music, Torah readings, scripture meditations. All Praises Radio is a 24-hour digital radio station dedicated to uplifting the name of Yahuwah with inspiring music and teachings for the set-apart walk. It's listener-supported ministry, so to keep the music playing, maintain proper licensing, and expand our reach, we're asking for just a $5 one-time donation from everyone who listens. Your support makes a difference, so go on over today. And now, back to Sister June.
Praise Yah.
Back to myself. Oh,
yeah, I was going to say, I feel funny.
I wanted to introduce her as well. It's my pleasure and honor to introduce Sister June. A little bit about her. Sister June and her husband, Rodney, of 20 years, are the founders of Yahudah Living, who is hosting this webinar for you tonight with many wellness and wonderful content that they have. So make sure you check out the YouTube channel. The platform hosting this series of Set Apart Living webinars, and she lives in Virginia with her son Darius and her dog Judah. She's especially excited about the wellness segments as these topics are close to her heart and ones that she's passionate about sharing with others. Her journey with essential oils began over 10 years ago while researching natural remedies for headaches and eczema. When her son struggled with eczema, she discovered that adding tea tree and lavender oils to his bath soothed his skin and had a calming effect. From there, Sister June explored essential oil blends for focus and calm, bringing noticeable benefits to her family. So her passion grew as she began incorporating oils into her daily life, cleaning with homemade carpet fresheners, gardening with rosemary oil, and more. Their versatility and ability to provide natural solutions had her hooked. A few years in, a friend introduced her to a Utah-based company offering over 250 oils. Feeling like a kid in a candy store, Sister June eagerly purchased, shared, and even sold oils from the brand, convinced of their superior quality. Over time, her understanding deepened, and she discovered that many reputable companies offer comparable quality at lower prices. She also learned how to test oils for purity and even make some at home, knowledge that she's excited to share. Today, Sister June is passionate about helping others heal naturally through the gifts our thoughtful Heavenly Father has provided just for us. All praises to his set-apart name. And now, back to Sister June.
All right, praise Yahuwah. I'm trying to juggle these buttons. Bear with me. Oh, I'm hitting this button. There we go. And this button. Okay. Thank you so much, Sister Catriel. And by the way, Sister Jessica, did you want to give a quick testimony on the planted ebook? I saw your comment in the chat.
Yes, it was probably the best purchase I've made. Well, that and my juicer. Yeah, it's been such a blessing. We're walking through, we have a WhatsApp group, and just to keep help keep accountable. Definitely building up some much needed discipline, working out every day amongst other things. And it just provides that focus that I was lacking. So I am very blessed by it and recommend it to anybody. It's definitely worth it, especially for the support you receive from Brother Stefan and Sister Britt, because they're awesome.
Awesome, thank you. And it comes with there's the planted ebook, and then there's also a
Habit tracker.
Yeah, a habit tracker, which is awesome. You actually get two. You actually get two things. Excellent. All right. So what are essential oils? It's, for those who may have not tuned in last time, they are concentrated extracts derived from plants, and it captures their natural aroma and a lot of beneficial properties, which you'll be hearing about. And I thought it was beautiful, perfect that even the microgreens, how we're learning how things in concentrated doses have a far greater nutrients. Like Sister Jessica showed how juicing is like eating a whole bunch of vegetables and fruit all at once. So analogy for essential oils, like juicing, condenses the nutrients from multiple fruits and vegetables into one drink. Essential oils distill the essence of many plants in a powerful form. So one of those little bottles you see is like dozens of plants, and it's very potent. And so this concentration is why they're called essential oils. They embody the plant's essence. All right. And I just thought it was so beautiful how Sister Sinja shared last time how essential oils was found in scripture. And her presentation again was essential oils in the body, that you can check out on our YouTube channel from last time. And they played a significant role in worship, anointing, healing, and purification in biblical times. And she talked about frankincense, myrrh, hyssop, cedar wood, spikenard, olive oil, and these are all listed in the scriptures: Exodus, Leviticus, Matthew, Esther, Psalm, and that's just really cool. So Yahuwah created, and something food for thought, he created the seed-bearing plants before he created us. So think about how, before you welcome home a newborn, like right now in my assembly, there's several families about to, well, two just had their babies, and others are about to they're preparing, they're putting things in their home, getting ready for their child. Even if you're bringing a pet home, you might buy a dog toy or cage or whatever. And I just thought it was so beautiful how the Father was so thoughtful to put here first the things for us. So the plants and all of that, seed-bearing plants, he put it there and then created us next. It also reminds me of the scripture that says he created the Sabbath for man and not man for the Sabbath, because that was also created before us. So when we were going over all the beauty of essential oils last time, the question came up. People wanted to know, well, I'm convinced, where do I get them? And how can I get quality oils? How do I know? Like what kind of tests are done for me to see if this is a legit oil? Because unfortunately, there's a lot of scam stuff out there, right? Where people, because of the popularity of essential oils, they're watering them down, diluting them. You're getting they don't say it, but you're getting like a blend of coconut oil along with the essential oil, and so, and there's so many options on Amazon, Walmart, and other outlets. So I thought I would, get together with a couple people and come up with a list of quality oils that can be recommended. And I'm going to kind of go over, there's a lot more oils on the market than this, or I mean to say oil companies or oil brands is what I mean to say. But we're just going to go over some, and I've kind of priced them from lowest to highest for the most part in this diagram you're seeing. And I created a free PDF. It's already up on /wellness if you click the resources tab. So, and I'm going to go over these. So there's Now Foods, which seems to be one of the least expensive. And I see Revive oils. And I was trying to compare, I was trying to do the math so that the pricing was 15 milliliters for all of these, even though some of the companies don't actually sell 15 milliliters, if you follow me. So I'll probably be updating the PDF once I dig a little deeper into that math. I'll probably have AI help me calculate it for us. But this helps you get the general idea and gist. So so we have the Now Foods, and I show the type of industry standard tests that they have. And I'm going to go over that in a minute too. And I show if they are MLM, which is multi-level marketing, or some people refer to it as a pyramid scheme. And then I also have a faith column. And so I'll just, mention them. Now Foods Plant Therapy, which I'm really digging myself. Eden's Garden, I have some of that as well. Simply Earth, Revive oils. I keep hearing a lot about that. I'm eager to try that. Rocky Mountain oils, doTERRA, and also Young Living. So these are, again, I'm just sharing the top essential oils that I'm able to, that I personally know about that can share with you. And again, they have their different testing methods. Now, I did want to point out, I highlighted, there are two companies on this list that sell quality oils, but they're MLM. And so I did want people to be aware of that. And if you notice, they're also the highest priced. And so that probably has a lot to do with it. They also use proprietary testing, and we'll mention that again in a moment. And that may also contribute to the higher price. And it just so happens both of these companies are also Mormon owned. They're based in Utah. And a lot of people don't know these little factoids. And so I just thought I would mention that as well. I wasn't able to determine if any of these other companies were faith-based, except for Eden's Garden. The author's bio talks about kind of what we just went over, that the Most High put the oils here for our benefit. And again, if you want to capture that chart, take a screenshot, or again, it'll be in the PDF. So I'm just going to briefly go through them very quickly. So the Now brand, if you go on Amazon, that's the one I seem to see the most. It's an affordable entry level oil company, best suited for general use. So if you're just doing it like for gardening or cleaning, this, it might be something to consider. I make carpet freshener out of like lavender and baking soda, for example. So a Now brand is something I use for that. And this company is family owned, and they recently were celebrating 55 years. So they've been around a while, and they're based in Bloomingdale, Illinois. And you can get all these oils on Amazon. Their direct site is nowfoods.com if you want to do more research. So and again, I'm going from lower costs to higher costs, okay? The next up is Plant Therapy. And this is another affordable oil company with batch specific testing and transparency, meaning they publicly publish their tests. It's not they don't just say they're testing and say how wonderful their testing is. They publish their testing results. And this is owned by a couple, Chris and Amanda Jones, and it's based in Twin Falls, Idaho. And again, I give these tidbits so you can do more research and vetting yourself on these owners, like who are they owned by? For some people that might be significant. Then we go to Eden's Garden. And again, by the name, this is the one that states it is faith-based. It's family owned and offering high quality oils at affordable prices. And it's owned by Grace Martin. And part of her story is she, back in the day, the MLM choices were really the monopoly. And so she wanted to put a choice on the market where people could get more affordable prices without the, or quality oils without the high price tag. So she kind of took out, her business structure doesn't have any sort of MLM structure in it. And so if you're not familiar with MLM, it's just, when you purchase oils, it benefits the person that's over you, and then it benefits the person over them, and so forth. And that's why it's called a pyramid scheme, or multi-market, whatever it means, I forget. Multi-market level marketing, multi-level marketing. All right. Next up is Revive, and I keep hearing a lot of good information about I even like the name, like Revive. And as you can see, it's simple. They're not spending a lot on branding here. Very plain and simple. But hey, they're putting more money where the oil is, so to speak. And they offer high quality, affordable essential oils, again, with transparent sourcing and no MLM structure. They're based out of Sacramento, California, and their website is revive-eo.com. All right, we just have a few more. Rocky Mountain Oils. I've actually tried them, and I like them. This offers high quality pure oils with transparent sourcing and testing, owned by Michael and Phoenix Vincent. Now, I do see that they're based in Utah. Now, y'all know. So I don't know if, it wasn't publicly stated about their faith, but I just thought I would throw that out there. RockyMountainOils.com is their website. And you see here all these pages in the bottom right hand corner. I'm showing you what their product actually looks like if you were to purchase it. All right, number 7 on the list is doTERRA, and they have premium oils marketed with strict proprietary quality control processes, and it's owned by the founders David Sterling and Dr. Hill and team. And I actually meant to put them number 8 because I was going to talk about how they left Young Living. doTERRA company is actually a fork. For those who are software developers, you know what that means. A fork of Young Living. They, basically some people didn't like what Young Living was doing and they left and made doTERRA. And you'll see here their prices are just more higher. And is it because it's higher quality? No, it's because of the MLA structure from what my research has found out, but I implore you to do your own research. Just like we test the scriptures, we should test all things. Praise Yah. And then, as I mentioned, Young Living, pioneering the MLL brand with a strong focus on purity and sustainable sourcing. And this one is owned by Mary Young, and thus the name Young Living. And this is in Lehi, Utah, and their website is youngliving.com. And then on the bottom right, you see what their product looks like. So yeah, I just wanted to go over those top or some 8 example quality oil companies. All right. And so how do we know that the oils are quality other than me saying that they're quality? And so there's 2 basic ways that we can know. One, like I was mentioning, the industry standard test. So in the essential oil industry, if you will, there's 2 major industry standard tests. And bear with me on these names. The first one is gas chromatography and mass spectrometry, abbreviated GCMS. And so this is a detailed test that analyzes the oil's chemical composition for purity. And it's the most widely accepted and respected method for identifying and quantifying the chemical makeup of the oils. And this is a transparent and reliable testing. And as you saw from the chart in the beginning, this particular testing is used by Plant Therapy, Eden's Garden, Rocky Mountain Oils, Simply Earth, and Revive Oils. And then another somewhat similar test is gas chromatography and infrared spectroscopy. And it's similar to the other one, but not as comprehensive. And so that's really the only difference. And the Now Foods family company uses this particular test. And again, they disclose those testing results. And then 2 of the companies on the list use what's called proprietary tests. The first one, Young Living, they use something called the Seed to Seal program. And I love that expression, from seed to seal, like from harvesting it all the way to sealing up the product. And their quality program ensures purity from cultivation to production. And it stands out in its emphasis for sustainability, sourcing, and ethical practices. They often, like doTERRA even, they show the people in other countries that are actually harvesting the oils and but the specifics of the testing involved can sometimes be unclear. But you can learn more about their proprietary test, Seed to Seal, at seedtoseal.com. They have a dedicated website about their testing, even a logo, as you can see right here, to represent that particular testing. And then there is the Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade, CPTG. And you won't see this on any other oils produced by other companies, because this too is a proprietary test, meaning it's unique to their own company, right? And so doTERRA's proprietary quality standard, the CPTG, is remarkable in branding and marketing, not as transparent as the industry standard, and it relies on trust in doTERRA's internal processes, because this, again, proprietary is an internal process. And so just some quick food for thought. It's interesting to note that, out of all the oils I've listed tonight, the two that use proprietary testing method are the two MLM companies. So that was interesting to know. And keeping that in mind, imagine car manufacturers using universally accepted safety tests to ensure their vehicles meet trusted standards. Now picture a few companies in the automotive industry insisting on their own secret safety tests, claiming that theirs is better, but refusing to share the details. So this raises questions, why not use transparent, established methods that everyone trusts? It's the same with industry standards. Proven methods inspire confidence and reliability. So just something to consider, some food for thought. Another way to, in addition to these tests that that these companies do, you can do your own test at home to test these oils. So I'm going to play a 2-minute video that goes over some of the tests that can be done at home. So let me make sure I'm sharing sound. All right, so the freeze test is the first one. Put your essential oil in the freezer for 8 hours. And the pure essential oil will not crystallize or have ice cold inside. And so they're showing you on the right quality oil that didn't have that. And then on the left, you can kind of see, and that's because if they, added water to it, like watered it down, the water would freeze, right? Here's another test. The coin test. Pure essential oils will not give corrosive effects, right? But water, would corrode the penny. And it says we can witness the corroding. And that went a little too fast for me to read, but you get the idea. Test number 3, the ring test. This is the one I'm most familiar with. You put a drop of the oil on a clear sheet of paper and you let it sit. They say only a few minutes. And then you're looking for a noticeable white ring around the drop that you put on the paper. And so it says if there is a ring present, that means that the oil has likely been diluted with another substance and is less pure. Because after a while, if it's real oil, it evaporates and such. Check the bottle. Check the bottle to see if it was tightly sealed. Dark amber bottle. And then read the label they're saying. sometimes they'll reveal if it's not 100% oil. So those are just a quick video to show some of the tests you can do at home. So she called it the ring test. I know it as the blot test on paper. And this is all in the PDF that you can download. And it's at no cost. You can get it at Yahudah Living. I kind of go in detail what to do and then what to look for each of these home tests. So there's the blot test, the water test, the freeze test, the smell test, and the comparative drop test. And so we can do some of our own research. And here's a little screenshot of the PDF that I put together that has this information in it. All right, and last but not least, I just wanted to mention it is possible to make your own oils. Now, for convenience, most people will buy them, and some things, it's not like most people can grow frankincense in their backyard, right? So this will be more like growing lavender or peppermint or rosemary. Those are, I would say, the top oils to make at home. And I was going to show some videos. You can just search YouTube making your own essential oils, and you'll see some people have like a distiller and the process they go through to harvest the oil. And there's other methods. I think I saw there was something about a crock pot in there somewhere, but I'm a little hazy on it. I've actually not tried it myself, but if you can grow lavender in your backyard, or I actually grow lavender in my kitchen window, right behind my kitchen sink. I have a windowsill. I'm growing herbs, and I also grow lavender there. You can grow peppermint and rosemary, and also those vertical gardens now, like Greenstalk and Mr. Stacky, and even the dollar store sells those vertical ones that you can try it indoors or on your balcony. There's a lot of ways, and like Brother Charles was saying, growing the microgreens inside. But it is possible to not all oils, but you can grow some of your own or make your own essential oil. And we're working on a small recipe book of things you can do with oils. Like I mentioned, carpet cleaner. I haven't bought actual carpet cleaner in probably like 10, 12, or 15. I was trying to think, my son is 16. So, not since he's been alive. And so all you do is you take baking soda and you put in your essential oil and you shake it up. I shake it up in a baggie and put that on the carpet, because you'd be surprised all the stuff that they add to just carpet cleaner when it's so easy to, or carpet freshener, I should be saying. It's so easy to make your own. And they say lavender is the one that masks odors the best, but you could do a mixture of lavender, peppermint, and different things. There's a variety of oils you can use to help with gardening, for bug repellent, and more. You can make toothpaste. You can add them to soap, to skin products. There's so many things you could do with essential oil. So we're going to try to compile a recipe book for those of you who want to try making some of your own products at home with the essential oils. So just to recap and close this all up, red flags to look out for when buying oils: lack of accessibility test reporting, unusually low prices. We did see some quality oils at a low cost, but if it's a brand that you don't recognize, you definitely might want to just order something small and test it. And you want to watch out for MLA structures inflating the cost. Look for brands that have the third-party testing, and test oils at home when in doubt. And empower yourself by making your own oils. So that's concluding my presentation today. And I hope you were able to glean something about what I shared. And, again, that list of companies will be made available. So we are now shifting to our Q&A session. So I'm going to be highlighting our panelists, and you could just simply raise your hand if you have a question, or if you typed it in the chat and it wasn't answered already, you might need to retype it for us because the chat conversation is kind of long at this point. So go ahead. And also, I want to encourage everyone, this is not limited to questions. So if you just want to encourage someone, you can do that. Or if you just want to share one thing you learned from each person's presentation, you can do that as well. So you don't have to have a question. And I'll start with some encouragement. So I really, I was inspired. I put this in the chat. I've had this kit for so long. This is to get started with microgreen or sprouting something. I don't know. It's in the it's in a container. It's a starter kit. And I think I'm going to get started with this and then, graduate to doing more of the things like the broccoli and things like that. So I thank you again, Brother Charles, for that inspiration. And praise Yah. And Sister Jessica, you have inspired me to revisit my juicers and to get to juicing. I think it was your presentation, Sister Jessica, that said when you know better, do better. And my family knows better. And we were juicing consistently for a while, and even doing the lemon fast, where we purged our bodies at least once a year. And it's time for us to do that again. So thank you so much for your time and sharing today. All right. So we have a question from Sister, I don't know if it's Brother Vic or Sister Sinja. Shalom.
Shalom, everyone. Thank you for the presentations. They were awesome.
Excellent. Yeah, I just want to mention that first of all, I'm really thankful. We know a little bit about pretty much each of these presentations, but I was really it's good to hear it all again, and I did hear some things that were different than what I know. So it's always good to improve on what you know. My question is mainly for Brother Charles. I wanted to know those trays that you use for microgreens. Where can we get that? And is that a specific type that you have to use, or?
Yeah, so any tray that you decide to use, just make sure they're food grade safe. The one that I personally use is a little bit more expensive, but it's from Bootstrap Farmer. And the reason why I like these because they're very sturdy. I don't know if you ever, bought plants from the store, or you bought
Right.
trees from a store. They're very flimsy and they can break. And maybe after one
Right.
season, they last you one season, and then you got to buy them again. The one
Right.
from Bootstrap Farmer, they're very sturdy. And I've been pretty happy with those. But there are other ones. If you go on Amazon, you can also just type in microgreens growing trays. So I do have several kinds, and you can buy small ones, you can buy big ones. So just look out there
Okay.
and see which one may work for you, because I have a big family, and plus I was kind of doing it on the side. I have probably like 20 trays that I have, and I have a five tier shelf that I put the trays on. And I may not use all of them all at one time, but maybe 3 or 4 or 5 trays I'll have going, so that I'll have a cycle. Once I get started, I
Right.
grow this one for this week, and then so I plan it out that way. But you can just get started with one. I think you can get them online. Maybe just Actually, you know what? I will share a link. I'll find the link and I'll share that with you guys. And then
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Excellent. I don't mind spending a little extra if I can get some quality trays so that everything I do behind that will will turn out with good yields, you know. So thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the presentations. I think you guys did an excellent job, and I can easily see all the study and the work that you put behind to make it so successful. And then I wanted to ask Sister Jessica, um, we've got a champion juicer. It's kind of old one.
Centrifugal,
What?
the centrifugal type.
The centrifugal type. So the one that you have isn't centrifugal?
I know mine is the masticating cold pressed one, where an auger grinds
Right.
it up, kind of like chewing. So it's not like a
Okay.
blender.
So
action.
is that the one that you were mentioning that gives you more yield of juice?
Yeah,
Okay.
more yielded juice.
All
The
right.
pulp's a lot drier, and you get more juice out of it. And you
Okay.
can also store it longer because the centrifugal juicers, they say you have to consume it right away because as soon as you
Right.
use it, the nutrients degrade. So you want to consume it right
Right.
away.
Yeah, that's what we understood about ours. That's why I'm asking about that. Okay, good presentation. Thank you, sis. And I love that you always back it up with a smile and a giggle. That it helps. Um, um, yeah, and then Sister June, we love how you put the information together about all those different oils. We're getting ready to switch up from doTERRA. I was thinking that Rocky Mountain brand, but what do you think between that and the Seed to Seal?
I've only tried peppermint and lavender from Rocky Mountain. I don't know if there's anyone else on the line that has tried more from that company. I've also tried Eden's Garden, and I'm looking to purchase from Revive next because I hear a lot of good things from it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, sis.
Yeah, I've purchased from Rocky Mountain and Revive and Plant Therapy, and they're all, from what the ones that I've purchased, all seem to be good quality for what I use it for.
You all did a great job, and we're really appreciative. Thank you much. God bless.
Praise Yah. All right. And I see some questions in the chat. And also, Brother Charles put some trays here. For $25, you can get a 4-tray. Here, let me click that. Here, I'll actually share that just briefly.
Maybe you can share your screen too. It's a soilless system. So for $25, and I actually have this, and this is really nice because you can put this right in front of a window, and if you don't, because the soil can be kind of intimidating for some people. And like I said, I experimented with this. If you're doing radish, these can produce microgreens in less than 10 days. So you really don't need soil. You could just use water, and it works. So, yeah.
All right, awesome. And again, that link is in the chat, and we'll put it in the live chat as well. Awesome. It's great to have, a personal recommendation on what to get. And that's a low cost to get started. And I love what you said about juicing wheat grass as well. All right, Sister Angelique, greetings and shalom.
Greetings and shalom, everyone. Mishpaka, I really enjoyed this panel. I learned so much. I am trying to live and change by eating a more diet that helps to regulate my blood sugar and also to eliminate the autoimmune skin condition that I've had over 32 years. And so my question is to both Brother Charles and Sister Jessica. Sister Jessica, you may have said it, and I probably was doing something else when you said it. But what was the skin condition that you were able to improve through your 8-week juicing? And how would you? I mean, would this be something that you would recommend to someone who's trying to really work on maybe a diabetic diet, or what do you think?
Well, I didn't ever really get a good diagnosis, but from my own Dr. Google research, I'm believing it's similar to what the gentleman on the Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead had, which is basically chronic hives, because the symptoms lined up and like what the rash looked like lined up. And I mean, I do still have some skin discomfort occasionally now, but it's nowhere near. I mean, it was debilitating before. Like, I was completely miserable at some points. So it's nowhere close to that now. Now it's just an inconvenience at worst. So praise Yah for that. But as far as the diabetic and blood pressure, if you watch that documentary, which I think Sister June plans on scheduling a watch party for that possibly, that's a he along with his skin conditions was on medications for blood pressure and I believe either pre-diabetic or diabetic, and he was able to get off of all his meds by doing the juice fast and then converting into a raw diet for an extended time. And the second, because he did a part 2 to it, he doesn't do full raw now. He does incorporate some cooked food and some like seafood, but it's he still incorporates the juicing and mostly like a lot of raw food. Because the more raw food you're consuming, the better, because the nutrients are alive.
Well, thank you for that, Sister Jessica. Praise Yah. I'm definitely going to save up some money to try to get the one that you have, because it seems like it's pretty efficient and easy to use. So I really enjoyed your presentation, and thank you so much. And if please allow me to reach out to you for any questions.
Oh, definitely, anytime.
Cool. And Brother Charles, the question is kind of similar, about maybe for the macrogreens that are best for controlling your blood sugar. I saw that you mentioned that there were some for anti or blood sugar or something regulation, but which ones do you recommend to grow if you're really trying to regulate your blood sugar?
For blood sugar, I would say all of them are actually really good. I actually have a list of all the microgreens and what conditions they're best for. I can provide that to Sister June, and she can add that to the resource page. I think all of them are very good, but there are some microgreens that are higher in certain nutrients and maybe better. And I'd hate to give you the wrong ones here online, but let me find that information that I have, and I'll provide that to Sister June, and she can add it to the resource page.
Well, thank you so much. I will definitely look for that. And your presentation was so helpful to me to kind of understand how beneficial the microgreens can be in terms of, improving health. And so I appreciate you both. Praise Yah.
Praise Yah. And if I can just add something to Sister Jessica's presentation with the juicing. Juicing is really good if you're sick, because what happens is when you're juicing, you're not eating solids. So it actually allows your body's digestive system to rest. So if you're having a health challenge and you're drinking the juice, all those nutrients and minerals are going straight to the bloodstream. Your stomach, your digestive system doesn't have to work and doesn't have to expend energy. So when someone is sick, or if you feel like you're kind of down, juicing is a good way to go. And I saw someone earlier had a question about overdoing the microgreens. It would be pretty tough to actually overdose on microgreens, but It's also recommended, if you're just trying to use it as part of maintaining a healthy diet, 1 to 2 cups a day at most. But it like anything else, you do everything in moderation, and you just find a way to incorporate live food into your diet. So no one's saying, hey, you have to cut it cold turkey and to just jump right into it right away. You can slowly ease right into it. Um, and again, if you're purchasing them or you're growing them on your own. The one drawback could be if you're eating too much. You just have to kind of monitor your body. But because it is high in fiber, you could experience like bloating because it is a prebiotic. So the prebiotic is going to feed the good gut bacteria. So if you do eat too much and you feel like you're feeling bloated, just cut back on it and just listen to your body and just adjust. As you need to.
Excellent. Excellent. And I really like Brother Charles too, the quick turnaround. Like start today and in 7 days you can get some nutrients into your system. And so something to think about for emergency preparedness, planning for that. And we look forward to seeing your information on which microgreens benefit which ailments. So I think if you put together an ebook, brother, I think you would have a lot of customers. And yes, we will do a watch party on fat, sick, and nearly dead, or is it sick, fat, and nearly dead? What is it? Is it? And where is that at? It's on Netflix or Amazon Prime.
Netflix.
I watched it on YouTube, but I'm sure it's
YouTube.
available on other things too. It's free on YouTube.
Okay. Excellent. So yeah, we've done watch parties on various films, and maybe we'll do Food Inc. and Super Size Me. Although I sadly found out that brother passed away last year. I was surprised to hear that. The Super Size Me documentary. All right, Sister Robbie, shalom and greetings. Our poet of Yah, our poet for Yah.
Yes. Shalom, shalom. Such a beautiful presentation. Thank you, Sister Jessica and Brother Charles. My question, or a couple of questions that I have is with using the growing the microgreens, is there a recommended water that would be more conducive to getting the best nutrition growing the microgreens?
Oh, that's a good question. I've actually I don't think I ever really thought of that. So I use well water at my house. I use well water. Um, if you're not on well water, I would say if you have access to distilled water would be fine. Um, okay, so I used to work at a water treatment facility. I used to purchase the chemicals, and we would put 32 chemicals in the water. Fluoride and all sorts of stuff. So the tap water does have a lot of chemicals, and actually one of a growing medium that you can actually use for microgreens is actually I was talking about simplicity, right? You can use a paper towel, but if you use a paper towel, you should use like a non-bleached natural paper towel because plants actually do soak up the things that are in the water and the things that whatever is in the soil or the medium is growing in, it will soak it up and it will be in the plant. And a good example of this would be if you're growing like a flower and you put dye into water like green or blue, those colors will be in the plant. Like you will see it start changing color. Yeah, I remember that experiment when I was younger in elementary school. So that's the only thing too, and that's a great question. Just know plants absorb the nutrients that are in the soil medium. And when you go into foraging, you want to look into that too. Like where are you foraging? Is it near like a sewer system? Is it near the road? Is it near a swampy area? So those are things you want to keep in mind. But that's a great question. If you're on a if you're on a well, the well water should be fine. If you're on tap water, you know, if you have access to use distilled water or just like spring water would probably be better because it would have additional minerals. But again, I think, faith in Yah is really what we need. It's, just know that Yah can heal us just with faith, not necessarily all these things that we're doing. These things are helpful because it's part of Yah's natural laws. He said that, these are life-giving things and it will give us life. But still, just with faith, like I said in the beginning of my presentation, faith as little as a grain of a mustard seed, that's all we need. We can move mountains. So if you can't deal with it with just with the regular tap water, it's fine. It'll be fine.
All right. Well, thank you. And my next question.
I just have a real quick thing I wanted to add in, if I can. As far as the water, don't forget you could also collect rainwater if you're able to. I know some states make that illegal, but rainwater. And also, if you do have to use tap water, I learned this back when I used to have fish, is pour it in a jug and let it sit out for at least a day, and at least the chlorine will leave the water. Chlorine will hinder germination, I've heard. So that would be the very least if you can't afford or don't have options, the other ones. I mean, at the very least, I would let the tap water sit overnight before using it.
Oh, thank you, Jessica. That's good. I'm learning so much. Now, for, let's say, combining everything together with the juicing. Okay, you could use those microgreens, add it to the juice, whatever you're going to do. What would be a good juice for a gallbladder condition? And is there essential oil that you can add to the juice? That's my question.
That's a good question. I would have to get back with you on that.
Okay.
I mean, there's juice juicing is pretty popular right now. So they have juice recipes for pretty much any condition. You just have to, Google what, juice for this or Pinterest or whatever. There's tons of recipes out there. But that would be a good, I can look at that for you. And as far as the essential oils, I don't know which ones would be good for gallbladder. You really want to look into that and research that, because the act of ingesting essential oils is very controversial. Some people, like Young Living promotes it, but there's a lot of sources that say that it's too concentrated and that you should avoid it. So you definitely want to do your research on that before ingesting essential oils. Do your due diligence and, just study up on that before that, because that they're extremely potent. So you have to be really careful. And oil and water doesn't mix, so you have to make sure it's incorporated well. Otherwise, like some oils can actually burn your mouth, burn your skin. That's why you dilute them with other oils. So just definitely look into that before ingesting them.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, I have been ingesting black seed oil, but is that considered different?
That's different.
Okay.
Me too. Actually, Sister Francis, Brother Charles's wife, gave me a bottle, and I'm almost out of it. I've actually been taking it twice a day for the past week because it's so horrible tasting, I just kind of sat in my refrigerator for a while, but it cures everything but death. That's funny. But yeah, I still have the bottle that Sister Francis gave me.
Okay, well, thank you for answering my questions. It's just been a wonderful, informative webinar. Thank you, you too. Good job.
Praise Yah. I keep hearing black seed oil tastes bad. So maybe it's one of those like cilantro things where it tastes like soap to some people, because I don't mind it. And I've tried 2 different kinds. I've add some to my tea, and sometimes we put it in our coffee. I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, oils like olive oil, coconut oil, black seed oil. Those are fine to ingest. But the essential oils is what you may want to, use some caution on. And real quick on the gallbladder, I had a gallbladder attack about, I want to say 7 years ago. and it feels like a heart attack. You know, when you're experiencing that, if anybody has ever experienced it. And I did some research. I went to the emergency room and I was telling my family, I love you. Like I was saying my goodbyes. Like it felt that horrible. And the doctor readily wanted to remove it. Like that was his, like, yo, we can do gallbladder surgery. But I didn't. And I'm so glad I didn't, because I did some research and there were so many natural things you can do. And I haven't had a problem since. You want to add, well, what worked for me, this is just my experience, was incorporating lemon juice into my diet, as well as apple cider vinegar, which also has benefits for many other things. But that helped reduce the, and then there's like gallbladder flushes and things like that you can do. But yeah, make sure you have, I think it makes your body less alkaline or less acidic or something like that. But you want to put in the lemon and apple cider vinegar into your diet. And sometimes I'll put that in my tea every now and then, just a tablespoon, because it's very strong. All right, Sister Felicia from Tennessee. Shalom, greetings.
Shalom, praise Yah. I have one question for both Brother Charles and Sister Jessica, and then I have an extra question for Brother Charles. So my combined question for Sister Jessica and Brother Charles is, what juice and what microgreen do you recommend for uh, energy? Well, let me reword that. For memory, to, I guess, strengthen your memory or maybe regain your memory, or something along that line. What juice do you recommend for, or juice or microgreen do you recommend, or do you suggest, or do you know, or recipe that would help with memory loss or retaining or regaining memory, as well as, I guess, physical energy, whereas sometimes you can have memory blockage and it just makes you sluggish and can't retain. And that's my question for the both of you. And my second question for Brother Charles is you was talking about the well pool water, and I wanted to know, what test can I get to test, or how do I test? I have both well water as well as city water, and I live in the rural area of Tennessee. So I have well water, and I wanted to know how to go about testing the well water. Um, because it's at, I have a orchard, and it's a well pump there, as well as all the way down to the other end of the land is a garden, and it's well pump there as well. It's 6 well pumps all over the land. So I
Wow.
just needed to know, how do I test this well water before I partake? Praise Yah.
Is your well water coming from the same aquifer, or is it coming from the same source, or is it multiple
It's
different
separate
sources?
from the city. It's separate from the tap water, I guess. Is that what you're asking me?
Well, you said you had 6 well pumps, so that means that's 6.
Well, I have one well pump, but there's six
Oh, okay, I got you.
spigots, I guess.
Okay,
It's six
okay,
spigots, but one of them is not even attached to the well pump, because once you cut, that's the one by the pond lake. When you cut that well on, it gushes out water. And the pump's not even on. It's off. So I think that's on its own. But the other one, I just want to know, how do you go about testing the well water before we partake of it in the garden? Just want to make sure that well water is okay.
okay. Well, I mean, there's a
Mm-hmm.
couple ways to test your water. One, you can buy a kit, right? You can buy a kit, and when you buy the kit, it gives you the instructions on, you turn your water on, and then you put a strip in it, and then based on the strip, it's usually color coded, and you can kind of see, maybe you can check the alkaline, or how alkaline the water is, or how acidic it is. There's other kits out there that you can buy that will tell you what's actually in your water, if it's good. If it's good, you can also contact your county. Your county normally has a health department, and the health department can come out and probably check your water for free. And then also
Mm-hmm.
an extension office. like the university extension office. Sometimes they'll come out and even they can help test your soil. You can actually get your soil also if you want to test your soil and send it to them, and it can tell you what's in your soil, if it's too acidic or if it's too alkaline, and things like that. So there's a lot of different things that you can do out there. If you want, if you don't want to spend money, you can reach out to your local health department and ask them to see if they can come out and test your water.
I did,
Okay.
and they said I would have to tell them exactly what I'm testing for, which that's kind of hard to do, and I don't know
Okay.
exactly what I'm testing for.
Okay. Well, in that case, then you can go to like a Home Depot or a Lowe's, and I think I bought one a while back, and you can buy a kit where you can provide a sample of water, and you can ship it off, and then it goes to a lab, and they'll ship it back, and they'll tell you what's in your water.
Okay, that's cool. And another one, that the other question I have for you and Sister Jessica is because my husband is dealing with memory issues. And I wanted to know, after listening to the presentation, I told my husband, I said, okay, now we're gonna have to start doing some juicing. Okay, then we got to start doing some micro greens because we got to get on point. I don't like the pills. I don't like the drugs. I don't like the pharmaceutical the whole thing. I try to avoid it to the best of my ability. So if there's something that I can give my husband to help him, um and I know the Most High has given us everything we need in this earth, so it's just a matter of finding what it is. So that's what I'm wondering, what do you suggest that's going to help with that issue of memory or retaining or strengthening? Right, yeah.
Okay. I have a comment, but Sister Jessica, did you want to chime in first?
Well, from my research, just increasing the overall vegetable and fruit that you're taking in general will help with most issues, especially memory. I did a quick search here while you're talking. Some of the suggested ones were, and this is just from Google, beet juice, turmeric, the green juice, which would be similar to like the recipe I shared, which has a lot, blueberry juice. Definitely something that you could look into. Basically, because the raw fruits and vegetables in their pure form, like they have a lot of adaptogens and words not getting to me, the antioxidants, which and the green juice and other natural juices increase your alkaline pH, which is beneficial for your overall health. Because the more acidic you are, it breeds disease. So you want to try to keep as alkaline as possible, and any kind of raw eating or drinking is going to help. It's just the drinking, the juicing, you can get, like as you saw, a whole bowl of vegetables is easier to just drink it. And plus it goes right to your bloodstream instead of having to be digested too. Like right now, like I drank that, while I was sitting there, not only do I have to use the bathroom, but I drank this whole thing, and I'm like, I want to get up and run around right now because my blood's flowing. I'm ready to go up and exercise again, even though I already exercised today. I'm about to get up after we're done here and probably do some cardio or something, because I'm just like, right now I'm like, woo! Got energy going from drinking that quart of green juice down. So just more, those raw nutrients is what will increase your energy and overall well-being and health.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And that documentary that Sister Jessica was recommending, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, the guy, he did that juicing for 60 days, and towards the end, he said he had a much clearer memory. And the first time I did it, maybe almost 10 years ago, the first time I did that, I surely had a clearer memory. And there really is not like a one product that's gonna fix it. It's everything. It's not just the foods that we eat, but also the things that we behold, the things that we look at, the things that we hear. um, you know, a lack of sleep. We need to have rest. We need to have fresh air, sunshine. There's a lot. There's a laundry list of things that if you incorporate it is part of what a healthy lifestyle is. It's not just eating. Eating is a big part of it, but there's other aspects of it too, like exercising. Exercising is really good for your body, fresh air and getting vitamin D, like that fresh sunshine, not the pill, but the vitamin D on your skin helps. There's just so many different things. So it's not just one thing, because the juicing and the microgreens, it provides the building blocks that your body needs to regenerate itself and to heal itself and to sustain itself. So
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, I do have a list of microgreens or different fruits and stuff that would help with certain conditions. But like Sister Jessica said, it's really everything. Just you want to just don't focus on one thing. You want, because stuff that are in apples are not going to be in spinach. So, but you want to be able to incorporate fruits and vegetables and leafy greens into your diet.
So when you do the juice, do you eat? I've never juiced like that before. I mean, I've had a cup of juice, but I have never juiced like you just said, 60 days juicing. Is that just 60 days of juicing? And do you eat?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all new to me.
No eating. It's
Oh, you're kidding me for real?
watch the documentary, and I think Sister June said you guys should have a watch party. I totally agree. That will be life changing, especially if you have family members that are deteriorating in health. Juicing can be like almost the last resort. And again, and like I mentioned earlier, it's also faith too. And you don't want to wait till the end. Like my sister waited till the end to try to eat healthy, but then she went on to dialysis and then she couldn't. When you're on dialysis, from what the doctors tell her, you can't eat anything healthy. You have to eat nutrient lacking foods like white bread and white rice and things like that, because the more nutrient dense food that you eat, that means your kidneys have to work, but your kidneys don't work. So then all those stuff stays in your body, and now they're just toxins. And so, yeah, you definitely want to, start incorporating more veggies and fruit in the diet if you haven't already.
Okay. Oh, the panel was superb. I want to say thank you so much, Sister Jessica and Brother Charles, for this information. Yeah. Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Praise Yah. Thank you. Hallelujah.
But yeah, to answer your question about the only juice, yeah, like I said in the presentation, I only had fresh juice. That's all I had for 60 days, except for the only exception was I took some psyllium husk at the beginning to help clean out, so to speak. A lot of research I did said that helps in the initial phase, but then after like the first week or two, I didn't bother with that anymore. I didn't find it completely necessary after that point. But besides, that's all I had for that whole 8 weeks was just juice. And I actually even went the extra step of making sure I drained all the pulp, every bit of pulp out of the juice. So it was only liquid. And surprisingly enough, I wasn't, after the first few days, I wasn't even hungry. As long as I kept drinking the juice, because what makes you hungry isn't necessarily your stomach being empty. It's your body lacking nutrients. That's why people that eat unhealthy diets, they are more hungry because they're not getting the nutrients from the food they're eating. And that's why they get hungry again so soon after eating sometimes. So, I mean, I did a little transition. Like what I did is leading up to it, I didn't just go, boom, I'm going to go one day from eating the standard American diet to juicing. I did, like for 1 week, I did all raw food. And then for a few days leading up to it, I did only smoothies, and then I went to juicing. So I had about 2-week time frame where I kind of got my body used to it. Detox first from because when you go from, coffee and processed stuff, you go through a detox where you feel like you have almost like the flu for a day or two. So I went through that first with doing the raw food, and then the smoothies just to get used to just drinking all my nutrients, and then to the juicing. And then when I came out of it, I did that too. I went to juicing or smoothies. What I did is I juiced and then did a smoothie for lunch for like 2 days. And then eventually, like after a few days, I had a salad and some fruit like later in the day. But I didn't just jump right in and out of it, because I have heard that you can have, more extreme transition symptoms if you do that, especially if you go right from 8 weeks of your body not having to digest anything to, I'm just gonna go to the buffet and eat whatever I want. That would be a recipe for disaster. So I did have a period of transition leading to and from it. So it was a lot easier, I think, taking those steps.
Aisha, thank you so much, Sister Jessica and Brother Charles. Thank you.
All right, and mine is the Nama J2. It's namawell.com is where you can find it. And like I said, just either sign up for the newsletter to get a discount code, or if you go on YouTube, and anybody that juices will have a link to their, what their code is, and then they get a commission off of it. I actually contacted them because I had people asking me about it, but apparently you have to be like an influencer and have a following to get a code. But I mean, they're easy to find, the code for the 10% off. So it saves you $55, which, every little bit counts.
Yeah. Also, there was a YouTube question asking about if you're on the road, if they're if a brand name of microgreens or juice that one can buy when traveling. For juicing, Suja, SUGA is a company that I would normally get juice from. It's cold pressed juice. And that's what you want, cold press. I used to buy Odwalla and Naked, but those are more like smoothies, and I think they add sugar and stuff in there. I don't know if they add sugar in it, but it's definitely a smoothie. And but for juicing, just for juice with no fiber or anything, Suja is good.
A lot of the ones that you buy pre-bottled in the store, though, they pasteurize it, so that heats it up and kills a lot of the nutrients anyways. So you do have to be careful about that. And a lot of them have natural flavors and stuff in there, which I never understood. I mean, you have all these flavors of this fruit and vegetable. Why do you need to add, natural flavors to? So you do have to definitely read the labels and make sure it's not pasteurized, because if it's pasteurized, it's, not going to be something that you want to sustain yourself on, because all the nutrients will be greatly diminished. So
yeah.
That reminds me. So I know with your type of juicing, Jessica, we have to consume it, quickly to get the live enzymes or the benefits from the live enzymes. Is that true of microgreens? Is there a certain, can you harvest them and stick them in the fridge, or do you need to eat them right away?
Yeah, it's always best to eat it right away, because once you cut it, it's gonna start dying. And I would say if you do cut it, to eat it within 3 days. But what I would do is, if I had to cut it because maybe I'm going on a trip, I would water it the night before, so they're nice and hydrated. And that's the good thing about microgreens too. They're very hydrating because they're mostly water and nutrients. But I would water it the night before, make sure it has a lot of water, and in the morning I would cut it, and then I would bag it, and I would take it with me, and I would make sure that I keep the microgreens cold.
Thank you. Awesome. And Laura, I think it was Loria RN. Jessica answered your question. But if you could type it in the chat too with your URL, Jessica, and that way I can post it, or if you can put it in the live chat as well as in here. And Sister Brittany, I think, is recommending a juicer as well, perhaps. Sorry, my eyes are. If you also can put the name of yours. I see the hyperlink. Yeah. Oh, so the link that Brittany put was for Jessica's juicer. Got it. All right. But I think you have one too, Sister Brittany. All right. Praise Yahuwah for this knowledge exchange. I'm loving it. Brother Vic and Sister Cynthia. Shalom.
Shalom. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just wanted to give a shout out to Sister Catriel. We really, you really have a knack for being an announcer, probably even an MC. We enjoyed hearing your voice and how you, I don't know what the word is for that, how you say what you say. It was inviting. So you did a great job with that. And I just wanted to, yes, and I just wanted to share with Sister Felicia. I'm going to email you a link dealing with juicing, focusing on brain health. And it's got some questions here on how juicing can help or to create a healthy brain, juice recipes for brain health, and a bunch of other questions that are answered there. So hopefully you'll find that. And it even deals with dementia in here from what I'm looking at. So hopefully you find that helpful. And I'll email that to you this evening, Sister Felicia.
Oh, praise Yah. Thank you so much, Sister Senya.
You got it.
Thuda for Sister Cindy. I appreciate that compliment. Make me laugh.
Hallelujah. Yeah. And shout out to Tatiana, Jessica, and Catriel, who's helping admin this webinar tonight. And all of you who are attending. I did want to read one text I got, which I thought it was a great idea for those who have feast meetups. The idea was, I'm in the wrong thread. The idea was if we could get the materials in advance to bring them to a feast meetup and do this together, so that we can all. I mean, it's interesting because like Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread is 7 days. So we could start the microgreens on day one and harvest them at the end. That would, and watch them. The children can watch them grow throughout the week. That would be kind of interesting. So great suggestions and great feedback. So I think, are there any unanswered questions that anyone sees in YouTube or Zoom that we haven't addressed? And I see there's no more hands raised.
Just real quick, I wrote down a few that I saw. I don't know if I got all of them, but someone asked if I have a list of what skins and rides are edible. I do not. I would just search that, because some of it depends on how well you're able to clean it and if you're able to get it organic or not too. So that would be a hard list to just come up with, because you have to use some judgment in that too. With like if you buy it from the farmer, you grow it yourself, you're more likely to be able to use the whole thing than if you buy it conventional or whatnot. And then also, if someone asked juicing safe for pregnancy, I don't know that I would not recommend doing a juice only fast during pregnancy, but I see absolutely no reason why incorporating juice into your diet during pregnancy. I mean, how could it be bad, unless you have other conditions that would, like you said with the liver, that would prevent you from digesting the nutrients. I see no reason why it would hurt you, although obviously you want to check with your doctor, the regular disclosures. But I mean, I don't think I would recommend doing a juice only fast if you're pregnant, but it definitely would be worth looking into incorporating it into your diet. And then there's one other one. Oh no, the other ones I just had to get back to people that were asking about specific things. So I don't think I mixed anything else.
All right, excellent. And I see someone's already purchased the Planted ebook. So that's amazing. All right. Well, I think this is going to be a wrap up for us, another webinar. And if you're liking these webinars or have suggested topics, or maybe you are familiar with a topic enough to share it with others, that's what this is all about. And we hope we see some of our panelists return. We want to see your demo, Brother Charles, in the future. Maybe we'll have you back when we do the gardening segment, because we're going to have canning. We're going to have someone share about, canning, dehydrating foods, survival skills. There's a lot of things to talk about within the body. So we're going to wrap this up. If I can share our final slides. And thank you once again to both Sister Jessica and Brother Charles. With your schedules, it takes time and just a heart for y'all's people to, do these presentations. So thank you once again. I truly appreciate it, and pray Yah will bless you. And our next webinar date, if you want to mark it down, is February 19th. And we're not sure yet if it's going to be another wellness or maternal health. But we definitely have an upcoming presentation talking about the benefits of raw vegan. Raw vegan, whether you do it exclusively or add it that to, we were talking about living foods, like both the juicing and the microgreens. So praise Yahuwah for that. So I just wanted to let you know, and you can register. It'll open in the morning at yahudahliving.com/webinar. And again, some of the topics, emergency preparedness. And we're going to start advertising the watch party so we can open it up to lots of, anyone who's interested in participating. And usually what we do is we review the film together, and then we'll have, a dialogue about the film afterwards. And so that's basically what that is. And it's kind of fun to watch it together and exchange and have that conversation. So at this time, I would like to ask our beautiful announcer to take back over to close us out in prayer tonight. And thank you again to everyone who joined, participated, commented. You are greatly appreciated. And encourage people to watch the replay on YouTube. All right. Shalom, everyone.
Shalom. Thank you, Sister June. If we can all close our eyes and bow our heads. Shalom. Shalom. We first of all just want to say thank you, Father. We thank you. You are such a wonderful Father. You always provide for us exactly what we need at exactly what time we need it. So we thank you for this webinar tonight. We thank you for the treasure trove of information that's been provided for us tonight. We ask you to just help us to retain the information, do the research, and see the things that are going to work and help each and every one of us to do as you desire for us to do, and that's to be in good health and to prosper even as our soul is prospering. Father, we ask a special Baruch on the panelists tonight, that you would just continue to strengthen them in their knowledge and in their research as they continue to strive to live a healthy life for you, and also to share the information that you give them with others within the body. We thank you for Sister June, the Yahudah Living platform, and the wellness segments, and all the different resources that they provide for us as well. And we ask you just to continue to help us get the word out so that your people can be happy and healthy and free to live as you desired us to live, whole and complete in total shalom. By your most kadosh name, I pray, let your Ruach go with each one of us as we leave here and return each one back according to your will at the appointed time. In Yahushua's name, hallelujah. Shalom.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Hallelujah. All right. Thank you, family. Have a beautiful evening. And thank you again for participating.
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom. Thank you.
Shalom.
Shalom. Good night.
Good night. Good night. Leila Tov.
Leila Tov.
I say yes to you for the rest of my life. I say yes to you for the rest of my days, rest of my life. I say yes to you for the rest of my life.